Well, good morning. I am Vivian Stewart, one of your librarians at Southwest, and today our session will be entitled Locating Digital ECE Resources or Locating Digital Early Childhood Education Resources. So at this point, I am about to share my desktop, and at this point, we are at our library's homepage. Now, if you've never used the library's page before, the quickest way for you to access it is to open a browser of your choice. At the very top, the URL address that you would use is now highlighted, which is www. Let me try this again, www.southwest.tn.edu. Now, this will bring you to the public website for the college. There is a blue banner across the top. Library is the third option, which will then bring you to our page. Now, if you're using a smaller device or you have a smaller screen, what you will notice is that the blue banner is not there, but you will have three horizontal lines over to the right-hand side, which would allow you to access this menu. So on the libraries page, and I won't spend a lot of time just taking a look at our page, but there are just some major things that I want to make sure that you are aware of. First of all, we have three catalogs on our homepage. You will see a demonstration of SOAR, which is our discovery service, but we also have a classic catalog, which is CyberCat, which would allow students to search for print materials along with some electronic books. And then we also have WorldCat, which will allow our students to search for items that Southwest does not have. So in the event they were searching for a book, Southwest did not have it, they could use WorldCat to find out if another library in the city may actually have it. Or they could find out if a library in another state may have it. And through the use of interlibrary loans, we could try to borrow the materials and have it sent here for them. And if they are very curious, they can find out if a library in another country actually has that particular item. So WorldCat will give a global view of various holdings. The most important thing that we want our students to know is how to access our databases. So under frequently visited links, I am going there now. We currently have around maybe 205 titles, which will allow our students to search for ebooks, multimedia items, journal, and magazine articles. Our databases can be accessed when they're on campus and also remotely. If students are working remotely, it will prompt them to enter their Southwest username and password. If anyone is interested in seeing an entire listing or a description of our databases, they can visit our A to Z resource listing. The option for live chat is available on this page in case students encounter any problems and then they could chat with the librarian. So I want to try to do maybe at least 6 quick searches for you just so that you could get a good idea of what is available for Southwest students. Now, on our page, what you will notice is that we have an alphabetical listing of broad categories. So, depending on what type of information students are looking for, and for early childhood education, they will possibly fall in this category, they will be able to find a listing of databases that we have subscriptions to, along with some recommended websites that we have evaluated. We consider them to be pretty good, or a listing of multimedia items that are provided for students who are more visual type learners. So I would like to start with the category of biographies. And as you can see, we have the subscriptions that we maintain along with recommended websites. So if by chance a student had an assignment where they had to find biographical information on an educator, what we would do is suggest that they start off with um, biography, Gale, and context. So I want to try to perform a search for Marie Montessori. So with my search bar, I am simply clicking and I am keying in the name now. Now, as I start keying in, as you can see, Search Assist is trying to assist me. And I have a listing. I am selecting the name now. And this is what I am provided with. It gives me a picture, and then it provides the name. It says that the occupation is education reformer. I have a birth date and I have a death date. I've simply selected the name now. And in this particular database, what I am provided with are 8 sources that will provide me with biographical information. I have 26 magazine articles. There's one primary source. There is a dedicated website. I have an image, and then I have 9 news articles. So selecting biographies where I have 8 things listed. When you look at your results list, what you actually have in looking at number 2, you have the name, you have the person that wrote this or the author. It tells you the source that it's coming from. You have the date that it was published, the number of words. It tells me this is a biography. You have the reading level, and then it pulls a couple of sentences from it. By simply selecting the name, I will now have access to actually view this online. And this is full text information that is provided. Also, students have access to tools which would make this a better experience for them. So there's a tool that says Cite, which will cite this in MLA 9th, APA 7th, Chicago 17th, and Harvard. They have the ability to select Send To, which will send this to their Google Drive if they have a Gmail account, the Microsoft OneDrive or email option. They could download this to USB drive. They have the print option, and Southwest students receive a $35 credit for printing. If they ever exhaust that, they could come into one of the libraries and they could add more money to their account. GetLink will provide them with a permanent link in case they want to share this with someone. We do have the ability for highlights and notes. They have the ability to translate this into multiple languages. We could decrease or increase the font size. We could even change the font style if we want to. Have the ability to listen to this. This is a shortcut to send it to the Google Drive, shortcut to send it to the Microsoft OneDrive. Have the email option, download, and print. Now, when it comes to highlights and notes, as students are reading this, there may be something under career that they actually like. By taking my mouse and highlighting this, when I release my mouse, let me try this again. These are the different color choices that I have. I have a dictionary and I can make a note to myself. When I select save, this will now place it in this area. So if I wanted to, I could just simply print out just the highlighted portions only. So the majority of the tools that I have just explained will be in all of our various databases. So this is biography, Gale, and context. Back at my listing of databases, I am now going to the category of careers because some students may be interested in finding out more about a career in being a teacher. In that case, we would recommend the Ferguson's Career Guidance Center. And I just want to do a quick search on being a teacher. So you're provided with a listing of possible results, which we can filter over to the side if we wanted to. And I am selecting elementary school teacher. These are the different tools I have access to. I have a short video clip that I can watch. I am selecting to view the full article, which will provide me with an overview. I have my quick facts. I have a historical analysis, tells me about the different job duties, find out about earnings, work environment, education and training. And this will possibly print out to be about maybe 4 pages of information that is provided for students. There is also an option at the very top that will allow them to find a job so they can easily search for current jobs at this particular tab. I am closing this out. Moving now to the category of database collections. I would like to introduce you to TEL. Now, TEL and Proquest Central are very similar in that it will allow our students to perform a federated search, which means they're searching across various database titles. So in the Tennessee Electronic Library, there are 41 titles which are selected, which we will now perform a search, and my search is simply on child development. And we're waiting to see what it actually finds. I think it is most important that our students are introduced to research type materials. This is why we direct them to our databases instead of just using popular search engines. So under showing results for, by performing this keyword search on child development, there are over 26,000 general magazine articles on the topic. There's one essential overview. I have over 91,000 academic journals, which are more scholarly. Over 13,000 books will provide us with information. Over 395,000 newspaper articles. I have 99 images and 30 video clips. Now, if they wanted to narrow their results down, they could narrow it down by publication date or range. They could add a subject on, or they could just simply look at the different document types. Currently, the information is sorted by relevance, but they can easily change the order if they would like to. And we also point out to students that everything that is provided may not be something that they could use, so they need to use their best judgment skills. Also, they just never need to wait until the last minute. So when we look at our results list, let's say that I was interested in child development associates. Now, I have no idea what this article is about, but let's just say that maybe I'm just interested in it. So this is the title. From will give me the source that it came from. I have the date that it was published. This is very short because it's only 420 words, but this is an article. I have the reading level, and then I have a couple of sentences pulled from it. Found in gives me the title of the database on the previous page. I am selecting the title to just see what this actually provides me with. This is the full text of it, but a student may at least like the graphics if nothing else, but this is full text information, okay? So this is the Tennessee Electronic Library. Going to the category of education. Under databases, as you can see, we have a pretty lengthy listing, and the two databases I would suggest our students use will be, first of all, education database. And there are a couple of things I would like to show you about this before I perform a search. Under the tab of publications, students have access to 1,603 um, publications that are indexed here. Now, if by chance they were looking for a particular journal, like maybe young children, they could easily go to the Y section, or they could just simply perform a search. There are 5 publications based upon what I just typed in. So when it comes to young children, full text is available starting in January 2004 through present. So a student can easily select the title, and then they can start having access to the various issues. So this is the listing of the various years, and then they can select a certain issue. And then from there, they will have access to the articles that appeared in those particular volumes and issues. So whereas we may not always have print periodicals, our students do have a long listing and access to online journals and publications. I'm going back now and I just want to perform a search. And this time my search would be on toddlers and tantrums. And I am simply copying this because I will possibly use this search again. So let's see what we actually have. I have a results list of 1,660 results, which are sorted by relevance, but they can change the order. It's always good to limit it by full text to remove any citations or abstracts. They have the option for peer review type resources. Under source types, they have access to scholarly journals, dissertation and theses, magazines, trade journals, wire fees, and then there's an option for more. As we look down through our listing of results, they're provided with the title. They have the author's name and the source that it came from, one or two sentences pulled from it. They have the option of looking at the abstract. They can get the full text HTML or full text PDF. So let's just select the HTML version, and students also have the ability to listen to this being read to them, along with the various tools across the top. So this is the education database. We also have education full text, and I will perform the same search here. This is a database from a different vendor. And with this particular database, there are only 8. So if a student was actually working on this particular topic, this would not be the best source for them to go to because it's very limited in what it will provide for them. But once again, students have the ability to limit by full text or scholarly peer reviewed. They could also limit by publication date and by various source types. Now, one thing that I like about this one is that you are provided with the PDF version. So when I select PDF, I have the actual article, I have the different tools, but students also have access to every article that appeared in this particular journal. Even though this is the one they were interested in, every article that appeared in this particular journal, they have access to it over to the left-hand side. I'm closing this out. I want to point out that under recommended websites, there are some things that students may find interesting because I see that we have the Journal on Montessori Research actually here. And then there are some other things that they may find interesting. Under multimedia, these are either database collections that we have or YouTube videos that we have created. So whereas this is a YouTube video that I'm working on now, you have a listing of others that fall up under education that are available here. Moving to the category of electronic books. Of course, if students wanted to try to find basic information on a person, they could use one of these reference ebook databases that we have here. But I wanted you to see Net Library and Proquest Ebook Central because Net Library is the largest collection we have, which has around 290,000 books in it. So I am simply performing a search, and as you see, I've used this before, early childhood education. There are 650 books that students have access to. So as I was looking at number 2, the title is Early Childhood Education, History, Theory, and Practice. I have the author's name, and then I have other publishing information. They're provided with a picture of the cover of the book. By selecting the title, you'll see the different tools the students have access to. There's a description of the book. They can view the table of contents from here if they want it. But under detailed records, we have 2 options. I have PDF full text or EPUB full text. This is the way that a student will view the entire book online. And I selected EPUB full text. So the table of contents is available to the left so they could go to a certain chapter. We have tools across the top that they could use. And the way to navigate through this book is by simply using the navigational arrows. Now, if I had selected the PDF version, of course, the student would have to scroll down. But with the EPUB, everything is listed pretty much in a very short window. It's not a lot of scrolling that they would actually have to do. But the entire content of the book is here. Closing this out. Now I'm performing the same search using Proquest Ebook Central. And I'm just waiting for it to load up. Now, this was just a simple keyword search, and it says 87,753. I just want you to keep in mind that is because the words early childhood education are showing. All of these books may not be something that a student could actually use. But if I was interested in this handbook of early childhood education, I could select the title. These are the different options you have. You can see the number of pages they could copy, the number of pages that they could download. They could even download this book and have access for up to 21 days. When they are ready, they could simply select Read Online. The table of contents shows up over to the left-hand side. This is the cover of the book. These are the different tools they have access to. They can easily use this navigational arrow to progress from one page to the other, or they can simply use the scroll bar, which will move up and down from one page to the other. So this is how they would use this particular source. Under the category of exams, I quickly want to show you prep step, but there are other resources that are here that will allow students to take practice exams. As this opens up, I am simply typing in education. And it says that there are 49 practice tests, 2 ebooks, and 1 article. Now, the way that a student would actually use this is that they will start off by registering, creating an account. And when they have created an account, they will have access to this Practice Early Childhood Education practice test. They could take this test in 3 different modes. There's a simulation mode where there will be a timer. There is a practice mode where it will show them the actual question and the answers, or it will be a study mode where the timer is not enforced and they could actually see their answers at the very end. So they could take practice tests here. And I want to keep this no longer than 30 minutes, so let me move on now to Multimedia to quickly show you that these are databases dedicated just to um, streaming videos. So under the Master Academic Collection, there are over 40,000 titles, and I am using preschoolers. To see what we actually find. I have 139 results. So maybe I want to look at developmental stages, preschoolers. Simply selecting the title will now queue up this video. I have an option of just looking at this segment, or I can look at the entire video. These are the different options I have, like closed captioning or full screen. I have these tools. I have a description. I have different tags to lead me to other similar things. You have a listing of the different segments. You could view the entire transcript, or if I select hide segments, it will place this in theater mode for me. Our students also have access to Academic Video Online Premiere, which has about maybe 77,000. And then there's a childhood video in this Ambrose video that they have access to also. When it comes to periodicals, I just want to point out that they have access to the online journals here, and there are a couple of titles in this Flipster digital collection that we have also. And the last thing, the grammar, I just want to point it out that we have Grammarly for our students, so students can proof their papers before actually turning it in to the instructors. Grammarly will proof their papers for grammatical errors, spelling errors, and also plagiarism. I'm going to go back to the library's homepage now, and as I stated, I will show you our discovery service. So we're looking for toddlers and tantrums. What is happening here is that this will give them that Google experience where it is pulling together a listing of all of the print resources, electronic resources, and multimedia items. So there's a listing of 36,846 results under this topic. Over to the left-hand side, I could filter this by full text online, which removes all of our print items. When it comes to content types, I have a long listing, but I'm simply selecting magazine articles. When it comes to publication dates, I can select 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year, or customize my date. I selected 3 years, so now my results list is down to 165. Once again, every article may not be something the students are interested in, but they have the title, they have the source that it came from. In some cases, it provides them with the author's name. It may pull a couple of sentences. Preview will give them information about the source. These are the different tools they have access to. And by selecting the title, it will go to that database and then they have access to the resource. I want to go back to the library's homepage, and I just want to point out that students have multiple ways to contact us, and those ways are listed under Ask a Librarian. But I just want to let you know that live chat is available when we are not online. They have the ability to leave us an email, or they can go to report a problem to report things that, problems that they encounter if they can't find something. We do have our own YouTube channel where students could go and watch other videos that we have created and made available for them. Students could also register for one of our online library classes where we provide library instruction sessions to help them learn how to use our resources on their own. And faculty members have the ability to ask us to customize a session just for their students. Under the resources, no, I'm sorry, under the services page. This is where there's a page dedicated to the faculty where they have various forms that they have access to, along with other information that faculty will find helpful by being here. Okay, I think that I have shown you everything that I want to show you, and I did not want to go over a certain amount of time. So at this point, I am about to stop sharing my screen. And this brings me to the end, and I do hope that I have shown you some things that you were not aware of, and that you are now able to see how we do provide a lots of online resources for the students here at Southwest Tennessee. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a great day.